of course, Portland is a gorgeous area to visit, to enjoy water sports and things like that. But how about the gorgeous and unique environment that Portland shares with us? Today I have Randy Bissell here. He is a master naturalist and geologist to talk about this gorgeous landscape that we're looking at here. Thank you for joining me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here. I've been a geologist in Corpus Christi for about 30 years.
All right, well
and
qualified.
So in the last few years, my wife Dawn and I have become Texas Master Naturalists. And if you don't know what that program is, we're simply ambassadors really for nature. We work with the Texas Parks and Wildlife and with Texas AgriLife to introduce people to nature at a variety of different sites. And we have a couple of chapters here in South Texas, and we have some of the best places to visit, I think, in Texas, right here on our coast. And one of those unique places is on the edge of Nueces Bay. A lot of people come over the bridge or across the causeway. They look at one side of the bay, Nueces Bay or Corpus Christi Bay, and they just see the causeway and the shoreline, and they really never think about the way it got to look like this. And it's a very fascinating and a very recent story about what do we see when we look at these cliffs here in Portland or the Bay Cliff in Corpus Christi. How do we unravel the geological history, the short, relatively recent geological history that makes up this really cool landscape that we have? And I like to tell people there are 5 basic big things that we can see or identify in the different places that we have around South Texas. Number 1 was the 400,000 years of developing the coastal sediments. And then 125,000 years ago, we had that last sea level rise that was about 15 to 20 feet higher than today. And then the third event was that it's really the Wisconsin Ice Age, when we had a huge ice sheet on the North Pole, and then sea level fell so far because all that seawater got caught up in the ice. And then that ice cap has melted and sea level has risen to what we call the Holocene, which are these sediments there today. Well, there's a 5th thing. So what do you think the 5th thing is?
Humans.
People.
People.
Right? Because we move stuff around so dramatically. And so when I look at the landscape like this, I see all 5 things. I see the past, the big Wisconsin Ice Age fall, the sea level rise, and the development of the Holocene sediment. And then the last thing is us. And I see us. And we put our thumbprint kind of on everything. When we came out here scouting locations, I was amazed at some of the opportunities to see at sites like this, the wildlife, the plants, the butterflies, everything. This is a really special place we are.
It really is, and I love that you're encouraging us to take a look around and take note of what we see, and then to kind of dive in even farther and think about the history that each level kind of carries and where it's brought us.
Well, absolutely, because here's the deal with our children. We have to help our children appreciate the beauty of the natural settings that we have, because that appreciation will lead to an idea of preservation and conservation and even ultimately restoration of these precious places like this location, our Nueces Delta Preserve, Mustang Island State Park, Padre Island National Seashore, Oso Bay Wetlands Preserve. There are incredible nature sites that are worth preserving for our children and their children, because once it's gone, it's gone.
Absolutely. So we've got to do our part to preserve, and that's why it's important to educate ourselves. And is there a way to get in touch with someone like yourself if somebody wants like a guided tour or more information, more detail on something like this?
We're always recruiting future Texas Master Naturalists. And so we have a website. It's www.txmntexasmasternaturalist.org. And if you go onto that site, you can look at South Texas, and you can look at opportunities to either join our chapter, which is in Corpus Christi, or the Mid-Coast chapter, which is located on this side of Nueces Bay.
Well, thank you for your time today. You are such a professional, and I appreciate you giving us insight, not only as adults on what we can appreciate, but how to share that and pass it down to our children as well. It is so important to pass it to future generations. Some of these big things happened just 100, 200 years ago, so let's do our part to take care of our land and continue to appreciate all the beauty that it entails. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a good day.